It's always after the second one, right there.
Oh, yeah, world travelers and those who are just sitting at home or in their car listening. Elvis has left the building. Well, it's not Elvis, it's Bix Sexy, and it's not the building, it's
The city.
Nevada. But he's left the city. The Blaxit 2023 has officially begun. We are going to talk about magic today. We're going to talk about our feelings, or at least Big Sexy's feelings, about no longer being a lost vegan, and whatever else comes up. So let's have it. The digital nomad
Hello.
is officially digital nomading for the first time. That is not in his apartment in Las Vegas / the episode that we did that was at live on at New York, Big Sexy on the road.
It is interesting to be in this house because for those who don't know, I'm currently staying with moms in Riverside, California. And with the knowledge that I'm not going back to Vegas in a couple days, right? Anytime I've come and stayed here, it's only been for a short time. I do a little bit here and there around the house to help her out. And then I go to try to see as many friends as possible. And then we pack up our shit and head back home. It's weird that we packed up all our shit and this is now home. This is now where we reside. The Barry Whites are Californians for the next 9 weeks, staying with mom for the next 9 weeks. So that's going to be a very interesting situation. I'm assuming that the time here is short enough and the work here extensive enough that it won't get to me. Fingers crossed it doesn't get to me. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, I heard you talking the other day on ICS. I had to send you a text and be like, bro, maybe we need to get you out here during one of these shows in Elkton just to hang out and to kind of break apart that 9 weeks.
Yes. Yes. It's serious. So keep me posted on that possibility because if you're able to work out some magic with the flights, that would be beneficial and helpful because that's the financial barrier that I will face as we gear up for this journey. I tell you what also has shifted mentally, which I knew would happen, and I was ready to have happen, and I'm trying to fight a little bit against is I don't give a fuck at the complaints department. I feel it, when you have the I guess it's the job senioritis.
Yeah, short timer's disease is what we would call it
I
when it was related to school.
Care. I look at time management. I don't care. I just got to make sure I don't do anything that gets me fired in the next 9 weeks. And I won't. I still do my job. I still work. I still, help members out. That's in my personality to do so. I'm not one of the people who would F everything. No, I still want to provide good customer service. They shouldn't have to suffer because I'm leaving.
Yeah, of course.
But like the other day, I transferred a phone call to another coworker because they were on a message with a client and they got disconnected. So the member called back, got me, told me who they were working with, and they just got disconnected. They've been working for 30 minutes. And, my knee-jerk reaction, instead of having this person explain to me, who knows nothing about what's going on, everything that's happening and get me caught up to speed and then make sure I don't do the same troubleshooting steps that my coworker did, I just called my coworker and be like, hey, you available? And he's I said, this member called, said the call dropped and you were helping them. And like, yeah, I could take the call. Then he's like, I don't know. He's like, can we do that? I said, you answer the phone. So he took the call, apparently helped the member, and then he sent me in our Teams meeting or whatever, Teams group messaging text, like Slack, but not Slack, it's Microsoft Teams. Anyway, sent me a chat saying, "Hey, we're not supposed to transfer person to person anymore." And I was like, "Oh, really?" Because we used to be able to.
Mm-hmm.
We used to be able to do that. If somebody's, you call, you see if they're available. If they're not available, you help the member. If they are available, because that's good member service. That's really good customer service to have somebody work with one person. And I knew this kind of change was coming down the wire. I think I remember something about this uh, in an email or whatever. But we used to be able to call members back. Like if we were working on something and our call dropped, I could give you a call back and say, "Nope,
Right.
let's keep working. Let me re-verify you and keep going." We can't even do call backs anymore. Oh, hold on a second. Somebody's pounding at the door. Give me just
Uh-oh, FBI.
hold on a second. Listen to
They
tell a funny story.
All right. Well, it looks like the FBI has found Big Sexy on the lam already. He is going to go get that door before somebody crashes through. Yeah, so I'm going to fill some time here. I'm going to talk about what we've got going on coming up in Elkton, Maryland. Many of you know that you guys, if you are ICS listeners, you might know me as Elkton Magic Scoop from over there, also as Judgmentalist, doing my own stage performances. But we've been booking these gigs in Elkton. We had a run last year, which Matt Donnelly, the Mind Noodler, kicked us off for. A bunch of other ones, and then the building that the theater was in sold. I have talked about this on a couple of podcasts. I think Peter Wood, Collector of the Impossible's got a podcast where I went into some of this, as well as the Who Scoops podcast. But yeah, so we've got some exciting stuff coming. Too late to get tickets to see Matt Donnelly, the Mind Noodler, with myself opening. Those tickets sold out in less than a month. So kudos to Matt and having, it's always great to be invited back to a place as a performer. And when there's ticketed sales, I can imagine that it's even greater to know that there's that much support and interest from you. Having only been here in this smallish sort of area less than a year and a half ago, let's see, it'll be 12, 13, 14, 15 months there. But that's cool. And then we've got other gigs that are being scheduled once a month for the ICS folks. If you're anywhere near the area, you're going to want to check out May, because we got Uncle RJ coming in May.
So,
So it wasn't the
it
FBI, huh?
was not the FBI, but it was my uncle and my cousin who was pounding on my door so heavy, which is hilarious. Of all the times for them to come out, I haven't seen them in ages, but they came, and then my mom's not here. My mom went to her dance class, and so I've navigated the wife into chatting with them while we are here talking. But this is the excitement of a a recorded podcast that happens not in my own environment.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen. So
Digital nomading trial by fire, yeah?
yeah. So yeah. Okay. Good thing is I remember where I was in the store, because that kind of stuff would normally throw me out. By what was I even talking about? I remember actually, because I was talking about this dude at work. So he chats me when I'm supposed to be able to do that. I say, "Oh, really?" He says, "Indeed." I say, "Oops."
You would think that the company would want the customer to have that cohesive experience. I mean, especially, this is a great example of it, because you're talking about somebody who got disconnected from a call where they had invested 30 minutes, I'm assuming according to the customer, but
right,
let's say that's a close enough approximation. They've put 30 minutes of what they feel is their time. They feel is 30 minutes of their time into this conversation. Who wants to start over?
right. That
Who
part.
wants to start that conversation over with a new person? Like, I understand that the company might, on one hand, want to avoid somebody just dumping calls off to somebody else for no good reason.
Right.
But this is
That
a
part.
good reason. This makes a ton of sense. Like, it would make
Exactly.
zero sense for me to want anything other than to talk to the person that I was just talking to.
Right. And the so the story gets even better.
All right.
So I get another chat maybe 5 minutes later from my team lead. So he has gone now and told on me to my supervisor that I transferred a call to him. And she hits me up and is like, "Hey, so and so says you transferred a call to him. I was just interested as to why." And I explained the situation, and she goes, "Oh, that makes more sense." She goes, "Good." He didn't mention that. He just said that you dumped a call on him. He didn't mention that he was helping her out before. I'm all it's okay. So not only do you talk to my TA, you throw me under the bus like I'm just giving you a call randomly just because. So then I explained the situation. She's all cool, no worries. And then what commonly happens in these situations is a general message goes out to the entire team. Just as a reminder, we are not to transfer phone calls to members, blah, 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 blah. Or transfer phone calls from members to other things and the company policy on that and blah, 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 blah. And all the while I'm thinking, this bitch ass snitched on me.
Yeah.
How are you going to snitch on me? Bro, just take it in stride and then let it go.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
That's ugh.
I don't need to be trained on it. I've been here longer than you. You know, so
I mean, is that coming from a place of this individual not wanting to do the work, or
I
what?
I don't know. This comes from probably. I'm assuming that the call, and she may have been a difficult client, and the call may have dropped, and he didn't want to. Like, he probably was like, "Thank God the call dropped." And I get it. I had a customer like right after that, that I wish the call had dropped because she's a talker, and I've gotten her before. But you know what? The flip side of that is, you wish the call drops because then that's out of your control, right? But the flip side of that is I'm very much you know, um, I deal with we deal with an older population,
Hmm.
and my going thought process, my going mantra is, how would I want someone to deal with my grandmother if she were still alive and doing calls for customer service, or my mother? How would I want somebody to respond to my mother on the phone if she needed help?
Yeah.
And then I make sure that I behave in that fashion, right? This is somebody's elderly parent, this is somebody's elderly grandparent who needs help. They're calling for assistance, right? Or they need it. They're alone, they may be alone in the house, and you're their ear, you're their sympathetic ear. They got you to talk about whatever they need to talk about. So man, I can listen and sit all day and be like, yeah, oh that's crazy, yeah, wow, uh-huh, yeah, oh that's crazy. I can do that all day long. All day long. All the while going, hang up, please hang up the phone, please just be done. Just hang up the phone and wrap the call, wrap the call, wrap the call. Okay, we got another story. Okay, another story about this. Okay, okay, about your granddaughter moving out. Okay, good. All right, good. And then you need to sit more. Oh, okay, I got one more story to deal with. Right. I mean, it's that type of situation. But yeah, yeah, and that was on the first day working here. The first in my new workspace, which is the dining room table, which is fine. It's just good.
Now, help me out, and this might help out the listeners. Let me walk you through what I'm envisioning this setup to be, and then you correct me at places where I'm wrong here. I'm trying to kind
Gotcha.
of walk through a day in the life here of the complaint department. How many people are taking calls within your cadre of people? Like, obviously you're not in the same place, but at some point in time in the past, there was some sort of call center where people physically showed up.
Yes. So
How
we're
ballpark me? How many
so
people are we talking about?
uh they'd be about 4 in the morning, six mid, three closers. So roughly 9 to 15 people,
Okay,
depending upon staffing.
gotcha.
Uh,
And you guys are all, obviously you're remote
right.
and you're linked up. I'm assuming to some sort of software that is when a call comes into whatever customer service number, it's somehow queued between that group, whether or not, you may not even know how this actually works, whether it rings everybody or whether it
Oh no,
rotates
it
through or
rotates you through. Yeah, yeah.
it
You
rotates through. Okay.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So, basically, and that you're, with the exception of obviously you're going to have like a company email, or you mentioned Microsoft Teams being set up or whatnot, where from time to time certain messages are going to come through to let you know about new policies, remind you about old policies. This
Right,
email is definitely about me type of shit. Uh,
right. That
but
part.
you're ultimately just kind of chilling, waiting for that next call to come in. And I'm assuming you've got some sort of, within that software, heads up display that's saying, hey, this is, John Smith, and they're in Arizona or
Not
whatever.
quite. Something
Okay.
like that, but yeah. So the system, when it rings in the ear, it rings. Unlike when I was working at the Strat, which was you got a doot, and then there was a person on the other line.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This one actually rings. You have to accept. It doesn't auto answer. So it rings, you have to accept the call, and it's just a phone number. And then the case populates in the software. You copy the number, you hit it in there, so you have the contact. If they don't have a contact, while this person is talking to you, you're creating their contact. And then they tell you their problem. You got to find their account. You got to verify the information. Um,
And then you've got some sort of like troubleshooting module that,
then
as,
you're
as
right,
they're saying
right,
stuff, you're navigating through, and then
right.
it's giving you visuals or prompts or whatever to kind of help these
Kinda. I
people.
wish it was something as easy as that. No, you got to know. Right. If this person is calling, the company the complaints part that I work for does a weight loss software app,
Right.
right? Software program, generally around digital health, wellness, and uh, weight loss and healthcare. So, if somebody needs help. Let's say the most generic call is somebody needs to get connected to the app and they can't figure out. And what they're doing is they're using their mobile browser and the site isn't fully compatible with mobile browsers, they have to download the app. So somebody calls in, I'm having an issue, I try to do whatever, and it gives me this blank error message, da 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 da, and then I have to verify their information. So I have to get their name, date of birth, zip code, um, first name, last name, date of birth, zip code. I think that's all I need. Those four bits of information. And then I can pull up their account, and then I can actually start troubleshooting. Then I can say, what are you using? You have to download the app. Mobile browsers aren't compatible. Boom. General call. That's a general call.
Right.
Occasionally, you get a little more nuanced or whatever, but then you got to, of course, build the case. You got to write the case notes and all this other stuff. So in this complaints department, you develop a shorthand. I have an entire Word document that is just templates for cases because I'm lazy and I don't want to type everything out the entire time. Because in peak season, you will get back calls. You get queues in the back to back, and this is the other thing that the merger has done. They went, so we used to have after call time to work on the close out the case, and it used to be 5 minutes. You used to get 5 minutes to
Where it
close
wasn't
out
going
the
to pump
case
you a
notes.
call.
Wasn't going to give you a call for another 5 minutes. When we merged with the new company, that went down to one. There's not enough time
Right.
post call in 1 minute. So then you have to you have to manually put your thing into transfer warm up, or which is the after the call is disconnected and the minute's over, it puts you in not ready, and then you have to manually go into ready, or transfer wrap up, not warm up, wrap up. And I can't tell you how many times that I forget to put myself back in ready, because I will put myself in transfer wrap up, and then I'll start working on the case and then doing all the notes and da 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 da. And then I finish that, and then I will start working on another case because we have a queue of cases, right? Email cases and web form cases that we have to work as well. So I get caught up on working on those, and then all of a sudden I'm like, man, I haven't got a call in a minute, and I look and I'm still in transfer wrap. I'm like, oops.
But
And
it's
I
probably like a wild ebb and flow where like some days you'll get like 3 calls and other days you'll get like 30 calls,
Like
right?
right, well, yeah, it was the slowest days I've had 5 phone calls. On a slow day, I'll get 5 phone calls, and that's 8 hours of work. 8 hours of work, 5 phone calls. On a busy day, the busiest day I've ever had, I took like 30, 37, almost 40 calls in one day.
Yeah.
And that was when it was just uh, that was just when I was working the one weight loss program before they added all these other extra programs. Right, that's when I knew back to back I could take, and we had 5 minute
And you had
after
your
call
5 minute.
wrap up
Yeah.
time, so I was able to knock it out, put the case notes, disconnect from that after call, take the next call, come in, wrap it up, do the case notes, template, close, boom, next call, and I had a system going, and then slowly but surely they have worked it to the point where I'm using that transfer wrap up frequently. And more importantly, as I said before, I don't care. I don't care how long it takes. I don't
Yeah.
care. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Uh, doing that. Yeah. So yeah, man, that's the joys of the complaints department. And I do have short timers disease for really reals because I am so looking forward to not working here anymore.
But hey, the ability that you get to do it, you get to ride out 9 extra weeks that you weren't originally anticipating
And
of
I get
income
to
coming
pay
in.
for 9 weeks that I didn't know where I was going to get. I get health care benefits for the 9 weeks that I didn't know I was going to have. The hard part about it is there's a lot of work to be done in the house
Right.
to make sure mom is good, uh, which I can't do because I'm stuck behind a computer. Now it's been slow enough, and I'm trying to map it out. So I'm gonna try to work it out where, and actually I might change seats because while I was sitting, I had the window to my back, but I like where I'm sitting right now because I can get in and out of this chair faster than I can the other chair over there. And listeners understand how you have no idea what I'm talking about and how the setup is, but that's just yeah. As I keep navigating through this space to make it most easy to maneuver and handle while I'm here. But yeah, it's already been an adventure. We've been here since Saturday. Yeah, so we moved out. So the big news. So backtrack. I can backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm no longer a Vegas resident. Let that sit in for a second. I no longer live in Las Vegas, Nevada, uh, which only mildly surreal because I thought I was gonna die there. I thought I was gonna live there forever.
The end of an
Um,
era.
Absolutely. Bye, cousin. Bye, uncle. My family who visited are headed out. Now that we're here, yes. Yeah, so my
You know,
I
and
say
I
my
think we talked about this before. You know, the cool thing about the digital nomading element is that you guys are not really going to be putting down deep roots
no, not yet.
anywhere.
Not
So
yeah, not
if
for a
it
while.
if it if at some point in time, even if you end up stable somewhere for a longer period of time, you haven't ever fully closed the door to go back. Like it's not like
Right, right,
you,
right.
you
Yeah,
were
we don't
walking
burn
out
bridges around here.
or you weren't walking out of the room backwards with giving them the good old number one as you were doing
Yeah,
so. You
yeah.
know everything is kind of copacetic and you came to the natural end of your lease, so you didn't even burn a bridge there. That's one of the
Right,
easiest bridges there with like an apartment rental company to just take the bottle, put the rag in the bottle, light that on fire, throw it
right,
back in the building as you leave, type of thing. I'm
right.
not condoning Molotov cocktails. I'm being figurative here. Certainly not literal
Oh,
to
then I
burn the
guess I'll go
building
ahead and
down.
put this bottle away then. Okay,
Whoops.
sorry. Yeah,
Whoops.
I found a bottle of Everclear and I found a rag. I was like, oh, okay, I got that. Oh, okay, I'll put that away then. I'll wait. I'll wait till the next time. I might, but again, with the complaints department, I'm be happy to
It will be
well
the FBI
back
knocking on your door.
back out. Uh, giving the double bird salute as I bounce away. I won't ever come back to this company because it's changed. It's changed. It's fundamentally changed. But I'm excited. I'm again excited about the next chapters, and uh, the funny thing is, our the the quote unquote worst case scenario is no matter what, we're on a boat in 80, 80 days, 81 days, going to Barcelona. So, and it's over in Barcelona, and then we're there.
Yeah.
So no matter what, we're on a 15-day transatlantic cruise out of Miami on April 22nd.
We'll
So
have to, we'll have to make sure that we bank a handful of episodes just in case, because I know from my limited experience on a cruise that the connectivity to be able to do what we're doing right now
right,
might not be
might not be the greatest.
guaranteed.
Yeah, we have to get the Wi-Fi back. We'll definitely have a couple bank episodes just in
Oh, we're
case.
and you know damn well we're gonna totally fuck up the timing of it all,
Of course,
like and
of
not
course
knowing
we will.
where we are and when
Not
we
what
actually think we're
which
meeting.
my time
Like,
zone is and what have you. Absolutely. And what'll be funny is that'll really begin the well in 9 weeks we'll definitely start the where is Big Sexy at,
yeah,
because then we'll be in a car on a road trip driving across the country. I'm really looking forward to when we get to Nashville because we're gonna hang out with the Micro Scoop and some other scoops and hang out there. My friend, uh, uh, we can stay with a friend, so I don't have to worry about hotel spots. I remember, we were talking to our guest, host of Congressional Dish, Miss Jen Briney. Shout out to Jen Briney. Hope you're doing well. Our second guest on the podcast, right? She was second.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Justin was first.
Yeah,
He was our very first guest, and then Jen Briney, and then my wife. I think that's the order of guests.
I believe so.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, we've had
that
some
sounds about
we've had
right.
some amazing people on this podcast,
I
and we're
actually
gonna have
just I just reposted that episode on social media because right now, as far as downloads are concerned, it's very close, but it's like the second or third most downloaded episode. Granted that we're getting this is episode 19, so it's not a
right.
huge catalog, but it's still they're falling in line, and the
Can
ranks.
you believe that, man? It's been 19 episodes.
Yeah, yeah.
19 episodes. That's we've been doing this for about 19 weeks. Like when we dropped episode 18, I was like,
Well,
18.
well,
Wow,
really,
that's
we've been doing this longer because we recorded 3 that we had in the can before we ever dropped one.
right,
So,
right. So
I mean,
yeah,
we've been doing this almost half a year
that's
as
20
far
weeks.
as the prep and the ramp up and everything like that.
Yeah, indeed.
One of those episodes we dropped like a bonus one, an extra one, Christmas week or something like that.
Right, right, right.
For the people.
Yeah.
You
So
keep listening. We'll keep dropping. We are not going to 2 a week.
no, no, I've heard other podcasts do that. Yeah, I think that's a ploy to bump up episode numbers. And I don't want to. You know what? Here's the thing about as we get into a little bit of a production meeting. Play one of the quick tracks for us.
This is something. Nope, that's the wrong one. That's the intro one.
That's the intro one.
So listen, you've never heard me claim audio guy as my title, and it's not starting now. How about this?
There we go. Production
That's
meeting.
better.
There we go. I
Yes.
like that. We might we might use that for like every transition. I like
as
that
of
idea.
right now, our transitions are that they're this, and then I could drop one of these in there. So the only one that makes sense is the one that
right,
Froyo
that
did
first one,
for
yeah,
us.
yeah. Which shout out to Froyo again, amazing work. Yeah, your sounds are through so many ear holes, man. That's amazing. But so production meeting, I was thinking. So one, we'll definitely want to pay attention to schedules and looking at stuff and where we'll be and when can we record and all those things. social. We want to do more engagement with social interaction with our listeners, and check out the numbers and see how the numbers are doing and pay attention to that stuff. That's the other shift that has happened is that now that um, I've started this digital nomading process, my brain, even though right now I'm still working full time, but I'm really shifting into this becoming one of my major focuses, right? And how to build this up to be as huge and as big as possible. Um, and so the reason I want to build up the social engagement is I want our listeners to kind of guide the cast, right? Guide the podcast. I mean, we can sit and talk about whatever's happening all day long, but if you don't want to listen to it, then I don't want to talk about it. If that
Right.
makes sense. So, we're listeners. We're looking for y'all to chime in and let us know what things you want to hear. You know, yeah. So that's the what I had for the production. I mean, I think I had something else, but I have since forgotten it as we talked about music because that's how my brain works.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, we're on our way to getting this thing right by episode 80.
That's right.
And
I made a promise.
and some of that is going to be ironing out format. In the last episode, we changed the name of the thing that y'all rarely ever do. That was the external monologue. Now they're digital postcards,
Audio postcards
audio postcards.
and digital postcards, which are just emails.
Right.
Right.
Um, but obviously, that if that doesn't stick, we may pivot and change it again.
Yeah.
Regular formats. One thing that we have not discussed on here, which is a decision that'll need to be made, but we don't necessarily need to make it now, as to whether or not we want to segment out into seasons.
Right.
Um, you know, do we want to have some sort of a natural, hey, every 40 episodes, which might be the number, that's a season. That way, by the time that we get to the break after season 2, which will be episode 80, if we pick that number,
Right.
We're coming back to season 3 and we're
Or
going to
do,
know what the
or,
fuck we're doing.
or do we ICS it in our episode? Season 2 happens at episode 1000.
999
Yeah.
episodes.
Maybe not that because we're not doing 2. And that's what's probably the 2 a week thing. I don't want our listeners to have so much of a backlog to get caught up to whatever we're talking about, and that can happen when you do 2 episodes a week.
For sure.
Uh,
Well, also, like you said, sometimes that feeling is, at least externally, you get the feeling that somebody's trying to pump numbers or, more episodes, more listens equals more ad revenue. Well, you may have noticed we haven't clicked any of the buttons that put ads into any of our episodes. Now, your
right.
podcast app might do that. If they do, we have nothing to do with it. We also get no
We
revenue
no
from
kickback
that.
from it either.
Yeah. But ultimately what I like to see is, I see all of the stuff on the back end of this. What the number is not as important to me. The fact that the numbers keep going up, the fact that the amount of downloads, listens, whatever you want to call it, and there's no idea. I have no idea how accurate any of this information is. I have no idea
Right.
what it actually means. I have no idea if, I know that 2 characters are in a clown. We're talking about looking at their numbers and their understanding.
They're using a milestone, right? They just hit like 10,000
Yeah,
downloads.
yeah.
Which is amazing.
It is. They're not quite sure how accurate that is. They think that it doesn't include Spotify and Apple. They very well may be right, but then not. So you don't even know what all of those numbers are and what they mean. But the one thing that I like seeing is, hey, are the people that are listening to our brand new episodes within the first 24 hours or so, is that number staying the same and or growing, which it is? And I don't care. It doesn't need to double every week. It doesn't need to double at any integral. Just
as long as it's growing.
I'm also constantly creeping on the earlier episodes. Are they rising? Does that mean that we've picked up somebody new that said, hey, let's find out what this is all about from the beginning? And I'm definitely seeing that. Like, there is a leaps and bounds. Episode 1 is not even close. Like 2 and 3 are very close in the not episode number 2 and 3, but the second or third most listened episodes are give or take a handful of downloads from each other. Episode 1 is by far the most downloaded slash listened to.
Nice.
Um,
So we catch them in the beginning,
so um,
and
to
then
me, that is kind of a little bit of an endorsement because that says, okay, somebody's catching this thing. Either A, they've been suggested it and they've decided to start from the first episode, which you don't necessarily need to do,
right,
or B, they've heard something that they liked and then said, okay, there's only 18 episodes here. Now is the time to go back and start listening from the beginning.
yeah.
All of that's what that
The
tells
other
me.
scary thing is they heard the first episode and said, "Fuck this."
It could also be that, but I was just going to ignore that and move on.
Right.
Definitely a possibility.
So if you're one of those and you're catching another thing, whatever, come on back. Come on back.
Because
We're getting better.
it's uh
Joe, just checking the
it
computer
is
screen.
it is not double, but it is definitely like it's more than 1.5 times
Well, that's good.
the downloads compared to the second most.
Well, that's good. So we get a little people on the jump off spot, and it'll build. It'll grow, and we know we do have some dedicated listeners, and those of you who are still listening and enjoy the podcast, thank you very much. And again, like I said, chime in, and
Chime in, give us ideas for segments, give us ideas for stuff that will end up turning into swag for you guys.
yeah,
And,
that
and as you may have
you're interested.
noticed, at this point in time, we are nowhere near A, clicking that button to put ads in, and hopefully we never do. B, we're not looking to start up any sort of Patreon or ask you guys for money or anything like
Not
that.
yet. That's
Not
coming
yeah.
though.
I'm not saying that'll never happen, but
Yeah,
we're not anywhere near any of that. Like I said, we're
yeah,
within we're 25% roughly of the way toward trying to figure out how to make these things good. So,
right.
we would
Yeah, because
never.
I can share my dream. I will
Yeah.
share my dream with the listeners. This is Big Sexy's dream for the podcast. I would love that we have a segment of the podcast again called "Where is Big Sexy?" And I am so portable that I do these at different locations across the world, and my background, whatever you actually see, won't be, you know, basic whatever. It'll be a cathedral or or a
Wave scratch.
beach,
Yeah, let's
or
get some wave scratch.
it'll be some nice exotic locale, which we will be because we record both video and audio, but we only drop the audio for now. But I would love to put the video podcast behind a Patreon wall. Like I think that would be really neat for the listeners and supporters of the podcast to be able to see where is Big Sexy and get those views and stuff like that. I think that'd be a really cool, a really cool gift for the supporters, right? Because with Patreon, there are certain levels, and each level they get something different, right? You get things, and I want to be sure that we have things to give that you guys find interesting if we decide to go down that pathway. Something that's different than all the other ones. It's something
Yeah.
different from other podcasts, right? Other than just the shout outs and the fun wackadoodle uh, things that can be done with thank yous and what have you. We'll definitely do a lot of that as well. But I again we're both scoops and from ICS, and so we kind of have a model that we see works and build, so we don't have to rebuild the wheel. Of course, you do some mimicking, right? So they have inner hay scoops at checkout, which is an actual thing at some location. I'm all okay. Well, what would be our inner black at checkout? And I'm all, well, you can enter Big Sexy Digital Nomad. That's too long. Sexy Nomad. That's not bad. Inner Safe Travels at checkout. Stuff like that.
Safe travels. Yeah, there we go.
Inner Safe Travels at checkout. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Um, So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that, and that's kind of where hopefully see this podcast going. And I feel, I want people to see the world, vicariously through me, get international listeners, and do international meetups and with folks. You know what I mean? How cool would that be?
Oh
To
yeah.
someday in a few years down the line, do a big sexy digital nomad cruise, right?
Ooh.
Where we have uh, everybody books a cruise someplace and we all cruise together and we have different podcasts as hosts and entertainers. Like I like to dream big. But on episode 19, I do want to rein that back in and be like, okay, not quite that, but something close to that. So those the dreams for what we're doing. At least those dreams I have about it.
Yeah, that'd be super fun. I mean, the thing that I love the most about ICS and that crew is the community because it's just this network of people that have all sorts of different skills and expertise and an overall willingness to lend themselves to others. And I don't mean in a way where it's a whole bunch of people doing work for each other for free, because I've gotten work from people in the group that I've certainly paid money for, but you kind of get this, just there's this level of quality that's a little bit different. Like it's made with love, and it really is. Um, a ton of stuff that I'd mentioned while you were dealing with the FBI, some of the Elton Magic events that we've got coming up, including Uncle RJ in May. One thing that I have mentioned on social media under the Elton Magic account on Twitter is that regardless of who the performer is, this is like a little ICS / Big Sexy Digital Nomad Easter egg. Regardless of who the performer is, if it is an event hosted directly by Elkton Magic, which basically means I set up the ticket sales site for it, because sometimes I will coordinate. I've had other venues in the area reach out to me about booking performers or helping them track down performers. So those things may end up, depending on what happens and where it happens, with the Elkton Magic logo attached to them. But if I'm not involved in the ticket sales, I may not have control over this. But
Right.
Hey Scoops at checkout will always be there, and it will always be a real discount. It's not going to be, I know that there are some places out there where you can enter Hey Scoops at checkout. It's going to save you a penny. This is not that. Um, but that'll always be there if it's an event that I have set up. And again, that doesn't, even if it's not somebody connected to that world that's performing, because we've got at least two of them lined up that are not in any way connected to the ICS community. But if you go to those ticket sales, enter Hey Scoops at checkout, will actually get you a discount on every ticket.
That's a beautiful thing. And yeah, of course, anything that we do, we'll if we have any kind of situation along those lines, we'll absolutely set up, inner Hay Scoops to check out, because again, we're part of that family. And then also enter Safe Travels at checkout will
Yeah,
also
I'm going
be
to
a
add Safe
thing.
Travels as well.
Yeah,
So those discounts will be the same amount of money. So don't hesitate using one over the other. They're going to do the same thing for you. So whichever one you're in the mood for. Here's the thing. I put this out into Scoop Group, but I know that there's a chance that we might have some listeners who either A, are not on that Facebook group, or B, I know that we are picking up our own listeners that have no connection to ICS.
right.
So
And if you're that, shout out. Give us
yes,
let us
please.
let us know.
And we would love to shout you out. I am in the process of tracking down and booking events for the Mind Noodler to do shows on the road with me opening for him.
Nice.
And we are basically, right now, we've got some tentative dates in July that we plan to build around on the East Coast, but we're not limited to the East Coast. So I had put something out there in Scoop Group. I've gotten a ton. This is what I'm talking about with this community. A ton of responses. Hey, try this theater. Hey, try that. Here's this contact. I've had people reach
That's
out to
awesome.
me that are directly contacting places and then plan to connect me with those people after they've warmed up that lead. If you've got an area that you think, we're looking for spots that, I mean, we'd do a show for as little as 75 people. We'd probably want to do 2 nights if it only seats about 75, to places that are really like the sweet spot's probably like a 2, 3, 400 seat kind of theater. It could go as much as 1,000, probably not much bigger than that, because just the nature of the routines that are set up, you get
Right.
like, we wouldn't necessarily do this in, let's say, Penn and Teller's theater at the Rio. I
Right.
think that with that upper balcony, everything, that's a little too big. It's
Yeah.
like, what everybody sees is not
Not
necessarily
not
going to be
without video background
right.
or
Exactly.
video
But
production assistance.
anybody got a lead on anything like that, just shoot us an email, because whether Big Sexy sees it or I see it, whoever it's for, the other one's going to know.
And that email address is bigsexynomad
At
at
gmail.com.
gmail.com. Yes.
So yeah, I mean, we'd love to get, and this won't all necessarily involve Big Sexy, because you're going to be in other countries at some point here, let's say April 22nd. I mean, it's going to take you 2 weeks to get
In
there, but
81 days, I will be on a boat.
right. But, once you get somewhat stable somewhere, hey, let's try to set something up if we can find a place there. Why not?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Once we're in Lisbon, look, once we land in Lisbon, and because Lisbon right now is our number one spot where we're thinking of going to reside, I'm definitely going to seek out the theater community. I will research how to book things and how to get shows in there. Oh, can you imagine a magic event in Lisbon set up? That'd be amazing.
It certainly would be.
Yeah.
And I know that we'd love to do it. And I can tell you right now that from anybody thinking, hey, this is a small town, hey, this is this, budgets are tight, whatever, this is employment for Matt. So obviously it's, these are not going to be free shows. However, he's not trying to get like, 6 figures on a gig or something like that. Like travel expenses,
things can be worked
covered.
out.
Yeah, it can be worked
Things
out.
can be worked out.
We're lining stuff up with some of these where, it's the travel cost plus a percentage of the ticket sales. That can work.
One thing I've always learned is to let somebody else tell me no. Let somebody else tell you no.
Yeah.
Don't tell yourself no and then not ask. Let somebody else give you the no. Right, because it might be yes, it might be oh yeah, we can work out that, and you have this like for example, we sold a bunch of shit when we moved out, and a friend of mine bought my TV, and I was selling my TV, and she goes, "How much you want for the TV?" And I said, "Make me an offer." And then I didn't hear anything for like a day or two, and so I sent question mark like, "What? Hello? What do you? Hello?" And she was like, "Oh well, I'm rethinking it. I looked at my budget. I only have a couple hundred, and you're probably gonna want way more than that." And I was thinking like $50.
Yeah.
For this TV. She goes, "Oh, well, I can
Done.
absolutely do that. Yeah,
Done.
I'm all, oh yeah, done. Boom, knock it out. Yes, I want it gone." And so things like that, like don't assume the negative, and then respond if that's the actuality, right? People assume the negative and then respond if that's the reality. Don't do that. I mean, some people assume the positive and then respond if that's the reality. Don't do that. Don't make assumptions. Just ask. Let the reality be the reality, and then go from there.
Yeah, because a lot of times it's not, in that example, it's not what you're thinking. That person's motivation is cleaning house and getting rid of the stuff. So, we talked about this when I did a yard sale when we were under contract for the house that we've since moved into. That yard sale was about moving stuff. It was about getting stuff out of the way. And, anytime that I didn't have something priced and somebody was like, "Hey, what do you want for this?" My response would be, "Make me an offer." And I was, for the most part, looking for a number that was not zero.
Right.
And
That part.
I don't know that in any of those scenarios I said no to any offer. And I'm
Right.
sure some people got some really great values on stuff. And for me, I got rid of my shit.
That's the thing that I'm dancing between having to get rid of everything. Is that thought process of if I say make me an offer, I want something bigger than zero, and then my question is, have I gotten value out of this thing that I want to get rid of? If I paid for X, if I paid X for this, have I gotten that value and more out of that thing? Then I can pass that value along to somebody else.
Yeah, for
Oh, here,
sure.
look, this TV I got, and I think that TV I got for like $150, right, when I first got it, and because I bought it from somebody else who had got their value out of it,
Yeah.
and and I use it, whatever. And so when it came to come time, like I don't need another flat screen. I don't need to bring 4 flat screen TVs to California. That doesn't make sense. I'm only going to be there for 9 weeks. I only need like two, right? I mean, and mom already has some here, so and I need to get rid of them. So like almost anything we brought here was to sell here, like because we didn't sell it in Vegas. So
Right.
like a lot of the furnitures and things that we brought to California, we're like, oh, we'll just put a price tag on this here, and we're gonna have a couple garage sales here, and it's gonna be a lot of it's like, just take it, just bring a truck, come on by, and take it, and give me some money for it. I was trying to piecemeal out I have a bunch of CDs and DVDs and stuff like that. I was trying to piecemeal out, oh yeah, $1 is da 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 da. I put a box of this amount on this, but for $50 you can have these 200 CDs.
Boom, done.
Boom, done. I don't need them. And I keep going through the boxes, look at the CD. Oh man, this is a great CD. Oh, da da da. Okay, and when I do that, now my process is if I see a great CD, I immediately go to my Spotify, search it on my Spotify, and be like, boom, you're in my playlist because I saw that and I want to listen to it. So now I can listen to it and just get this physical media out here. Sorry, Paul Madeley, I understand how much you love physical media. I am getting rid of my physical media because I'm going to carry it around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So I'm excited about that, those prospects. And then I'm excited to see people here in California. It feels weird. I haven't really seen anybody yet, except for my uncle and my cousin who just stopped by, which is awesome. I hadn't seen them in a while. Um, and I'll reach out to the wife and see how that went. But I'm looking forward to seeing folks here and then doing the process of saying goodbye. And I know you mentioned how I'm feeling about no longer being in Vegas. Like I miss it. I miss it's weird.
You
Like,
know what you missed?
huh?
It snowed yesterday in Las
Yes.
Vegas.
Oh wait. So my Alexa is still connected to Las Vegas. And so when we say, Echo, what's the weather? It was giving me Vegas weather. And it's like, yeah, it's a 39 degrees. I'm a 39 degree. Oh, that's not here. I can look outside and see that's not here. And then it says, so what's it in Riverside, California? 54 degrees. Ah, that's better. It's not good, but it's better.
It's better than snow
Right.
in Las Vegas.
Right.
Woo-wee.
But that's what happened. So several things happened after we left. So it snowed. They shut down the 15
Oh
freeway
yeah, I saw that
between
too.
Tropicana and Russell. Completely closed down the 15 on the weekend, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And my friend Chris Temple put on a post. She's like, "Why are they doing this?" And I thought, they're mourning me leaving. They're making it so nobody else can leave.
That's right.
No, Bix Sexy left. No, we got to close these roads down. What's going on? And then it snowed. It's like, all the warmth has left Vegas. Yeah, that's me. I did that.
Oh, just by the time you're getting on that boat, it'll be back to about 105 degrees.
Oh, you better
Okay.
believe it. You better as we pass through on the Blaxit 2023 tour. the farewell tour. I'm pretty sure the Heat will be following us as we cross the country.
And by the time I'm out there for Magic Live, which will be in August, it'll be up in those 110s, 115s.
Yeah, I think we'll be in Costa Rica. I think I'll map out. I think we'll be in Costa Rica in August. Trying to map out where we're going to be for my birthday, which is in September. And so keep listening, listening. I will figure out what that one is. We'll probably do some kind of big event for my 52nd birthday. I'm a birthday guy. I like to celebrate the birthdays and to try to do big things.
I am the opposite.
Yeah, you're reclusive when it comes to the birthday. You like it's a day, let it pass.
I try to be reclusive. I try to be out of town. For me personally, I don't fuck with that shit. Like I don't mind. I'll celebrate somebody else's birthday, but for me, I just want to turn the page and keep going.
Yeah, wife wants wife.
I'm good.
Wife is becoming a birthday person. She likes to do because she's married to me, and I like to do things on the birthday. She goes, "Oh, that looks like fun." Let's do that. So for her birthday, which is coming up, it's March 20th. We're gonna do a cruise. I'm looking at booking a cruise up to Washington. Something simple and easy, not too heavy of a price point. But we'll look up and do something there that way. So yeah, so that's what's happening, listeners. Thanks again for checking out. And yeah, so I'm missing stuff. I miss my kitties. My kitties are with a friend who's taking care of them. Shout out to Liz Sabaker. Appreciate you so much for looking out for the kitties. They're in a good comfort and loving home with somebody who I love and who loves me. So that is a huge relief. But I'll try not to be that pet parent who keeps checking up on a daily basis. How are they doing? How are they doing? How are they doing? I caught myself doing that. So I'll back up and throw that down a little bit as well. So, but yeah.
Yeah, we might have glitched again, out here on the audio. So
tuning in and
maybe you're hearing me. Maybe you're hearing Bix Sexy. Maybe you're hearing both of us talk over each other because we can't hear each other right now.
Digital Nomad.
But yeah, hit us up on the socials. That's Bix Sexy Nomad. Basically everywhere.
Oh.
And I have a feeling that it's not me. I might be disconnected here. But I'm going to keep talking because that is.
And he has gone offline. So now it is just me. Listening.
Let's get reconnected.
And I don't have any of the music cues. So I can't.
Am I back?
The outro music. There we go.
Well, again, this came to
episode 80.
We'll have this
unlocked by
an abrupt end.
80.
Big Sexy Nomad, everywhere it matters, or prankcall.me to leave us one of those audio postcards. We'd love to hear from you. Cue the outro music that you might not hear. Safe travels.
Safe travels.
Safe podcasting. Who knows?